To begin your slices color theory painting, you are going to need your canvas, a pencil, an eraser. You may need a ruler, and you may also want a visual reference of the slice of fruit that you are going to draw. To begin the painting, you're going to draw 1/2 of your fruit sliced open. I do not mind you using something as a tool to get a perfect circle. So you may want to use a plate or a bowl. All I ask is that you use one that is very large, filling up as much of the canvas as you can. I'm going to use this bowl to trace. I'm going to leave the bowl in the center, leave my hand on it to keep it secure, and the other hand is going to trace around. Part of the bowl is sticking off the canvas. I do not mind. I use the bowl for my outside perfect circle. I am now going to draw freehand the inside. I'm going to do some sort of citrus. I haven't decided yet which kind, but whether it be orange, lemon, grapefruit, lime, I think they're all going to kind of look the same sliced open. Once you have drawn your fruit cut in half, sliced open, so we're seeing half of it, you are ready to start drawing the rectangle shapes. We are going to begin with the center rectangle. This is where a ruler will come in handy. If you don't, we can just sort of, what I like to say, we can wing it. So if you've got it, grab your trusty ruler. We're trying to make about a 2-inch wide rectangle in the center. So what we are going to do is we are going to measure from each side. Our canvas is 11 inches wide. So what we are going to do is come in 4.5 inches on each side. So my ruler's along the edge. I'm going to look for my 4 and my 1/2, and I'm going to make a little mark. I'm going to come from this side. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 inches and a 1/2, about at 6.5. I am going to do that at a few other places. I'm going to go in the middle, again about 6.5. On this side, 6.5. And on this side, we came in 4.5. What I'm going to do is line up those 3 marks on my ruler. My ruler does not go the whole length. That is okay, because I am going to be erasing part of this. Our rectangle won't be this long. So I'm drawing a line here. And I'm going to line up these 3 here. And draw a line as well. What we are going to do is we are going to measure in the center of our canvas from the top. Coming down, we are going to go 5.5 inches and make a little mark. I'm going to move it a little bit to the right. I'm going to come down 5.5, make a little mark. Same thing to the left, 5.5, make a little mark. I am then going to take those 3 lines and we are going to connect them together. We will do the same thing at the bottom. So 5.5. In the middle, 5.5. At the end, 5.5. And I'm going to connect them in the middle. So now we have a little rectangle, 2.5 or 2 inches wide by 3 inches tall. What I'd like you to do now is to erase these lines as best you can. so that we have just that center rectangle. It's all right if they don't erase completely because your paint should cover it up. So again, I'm left with just this rectangle in the center of your sliced fruit. We are going to build another rectangle around this center one that is 1.5 inches wide around it. So what I'm going to do is make 3 marks, one in the center. I'm going to line up my ruler 1.5 inches, and I'm going to make a mark. I'm going to come to the bottom of it, 1.5 inches, make a mark. Come to the top of it, 1.5 inches, make a mark. These 3 I am going to connect, kind of floating in the center. And I'm going to do that on all 3 sides, 1.5 inches on the end, middle, end, and I'm going to connect those 3 right about there. Going to come to the middle, 1.5 inches, one near the end, one near the other end. Where are we? Right here. My head in the camera, probably. And I'm going to connect those 3. I didn't get quite as far. And now we've got to come down here. 1.5 inches, 1.5 inches, 1.5 inches. I'm going to connect the 3. I didn't make that one come down long enough. And now I have a second rectangle around the first. And I certainly can take my eraser and clean up any edge that's sticking out. We are going to draw one last rectangle that will divide our canvas up into 4 sections. We are going to use 1.5 inches again. So we are going to come out and measure along the 4 sides 1.5 inches. So along the bottom, we'll come out 1.5 inches, make a mark. Come up somewhere in the middle, 1.5 inches, make a mark. Near the top, 1.5 inches, make a mark. And this time, I'm going to line my ruler up and trace basically down the ruler. So I'll come to this side, 1.5 inches, 1.5 inches, 1.5. I'm going to line these up. There we go. We're going to come to the top and do the same thing. 1.5. 1.5 inches, make a mark. 1.5 inches, make a mark. I'm going to line up those 3 lines on my ruler. And the last one. 1.5. I'm going to make a mark. 1.5. Going to make a mark. And 1.5, gonna make a mark. And I will line up that ruler and come down. So Miss P didn't go quite far enough with this bottom one. So I'm just going to line this back up along that line and add just a little bit more going off. And same up here. Going to line this up and going to finish that off. Any of these pieces that are sticking off or sticking out, extra straight lines, you may erase. And now what we should be left with is 1, 2, 3, 4 rectangles of color. Once you're all done drawing, grab an eraser and come erase any of these extra lines you may not want. You may not be able to get rid of everything, but try to get rid of a decent amount of the pencil.